Whenever we do something, we always have a reason for ourselves. Whether it makes sense or not is another story. Even people who are thieves and rob others have their own reasons, like this person. So he didn't send it. This is the person who stole a total of 50,000 bitcoins. On the day he was caught, the value was $3 billion. But if he had held on to them until today, those 50,000 bitcoins would be worth $5 billion. The reason he had to steal the bitcoins was because having a lot of money, it made him feel important, like he was someone who deserved it. He just wanted someone to love him. He didn't want to feel lonely. But would you believe that Jimmy Zong here? He's a top-level hacker and has lived like a king all his life. But in the end, he got caught. How could someone that skilled get caught? Let me tell you. You can support information about Jimmy, the lonely-hearted thief, at this QR code. Or you can easily support the Psy Money Monster channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. I really hope you subscribe, so next time we upload a new clip, we can meet again. So who is this man? This is Jimmy Zong. His daily routine was going to parties, flying on private jets, handing out cash, taking friends on trips, buying everyone drinks, and just splurging everywhere. He would throw parties that cost $500,000 a day. Jimmy did it all. But unfortunately, one day, a thief broke into Jimmy's house and stole his money. Altogether, it was worth $400,000. Among that was a Bitcoin wallet too. Now, $400,000 is a lot of money for most people. Do you know how much that is in Thai baht? Right now, it's about 13 million baht. That's a lot. If it were anyone else, they'd definitely try to get it back. But honestly, Jimmy, you really shouldn't try to get that money back. Do you know why? Because Jamie is the one Psy said had already stolen 50,000 bitcoins. And those 50,000 bitcoins back then were worth $3 billion. So when someone broke into the house and only took $400,000, it's really not worth it. You shouldn't report it, shouldn't do anything at all. You shouldn't let the police get involved with your house. But Jimmy, he reported it. On March 13th, 2019, Jimmy called right away. "Mr. Wan, help me. My house was broken into and $400,000 is missing." And then, just like that, Jimmy hung up the phone immediately after saying those words. I mean, can you even believe that actually happened? It's totally wild. The call he just made to report everything to the police, well, as it turns out, that was actually the police department's #1 priority case. It was like, whoa, hold on a second. Everyone was completely stunned by the timing of it all. This was a big case. $400,000 had gone missing. And you know why it was such a shock? Because the city where Jimmy lived was Athens, Georgia, which is a small town. They call it a college town, a university town, home to the University of Georgia. And honestly, there's not much going on there. To put it this way, the average crime in that town is either a bar fight or a home break-in. That's really all there was to it, nothing more than that. But suddenly, someone came and stole $400,000, which is crazy because honestly, most regular homes shouldn't even have that much cash lying around. That's what made it so strange. So the local police figured they couldn't handle this on their own and thought someone should help Jimmy out. So Jimmy decided to hire a local detective to help with the case. And that local detective was this person right here, Robin Martinell. When Martinell arrived, the first thing he said was, "Let me take a look at the security camera footage to see exactly how the break-in happened." So they all watched the footage together. You can see a man smashing the window and coming in. He clearly knows his way around, like he knows exactly how to avoid the cameras and where to go. Martinell, being a professional detective, said this: "The way this guy broke into the house, he clearly knows Jimmy's house inside and out. He's probably a friend or someone who works for him." So they started investigating to identify the culprit. They dug through Jimmy's social media, noticing his habits and hangouts. But the more they looked, the more they realized Jimmy doesn't actually have any real friends, only people using him for their own gain. They just hang around to take advantage of him. But Martinell did manage to find one true friend of Jimmy's, a dog named Chat. That was the only real friend Jimmy had. As Martinell kept digging, he realized that actually, Jimmy was a really genuine person. He was a good guy who just wanted to treat his friends, wanted everyone to have a good time, because deep down, he just wanted to be loved. But as for the people around Jimmy, from what Martinell could see, he found that all the people around Jimmy were there because Jimmy spent a lot on his friends. Jimmy had luxury cars, luxury boats, and would take his friends to parties. He could go to a party and buy drinks, not just for his friends, but for everyone in the club. It was like he was living like a king, and his friends just wanted to join in on the fun. Martinell said that Jimmy could spend money like $500,000, $500,000 just for partying. So that led to the second question, where did Jimmy get all that money from? Because Jimmy was no ordinary guy. It wasn't just that he had money to treat his friends and take them out to party in the city or anything like that. There was even one time when Jimmy rented a private jet to fly his friends to Los Angeles to watch some sports event or something, and he bought tickets for his friends too. He even rented a super luxurious B&B for them, and to top off the trip, Jimmy's friends told this story. At the end of the trip, Jimmy even gave each friend $10,000 in pocket money just to go shopping for fun. Seriously, if you had a friend like this, wouldn't you want to hang out with him? Yeah, I mean, he really is. Anyway, back to the case, the robbery at Jimmy's house. The police were trying to investigate the case, so they asked to check out Jimmy's house. And what they found was that Jimmy's place had way more security than most homes. Like, there was an alarm bell at the front door, and there were security cameras everywhere. Side angles, front angles, up high, on the roof, on the walls, just a ton of spots. Basically, if anything happened in the house and the police asked for the security footage, Jimmy had footage from every angle. Top-notch production quality. The police even said, yeah, Jimmy was really cooperative during the investigation and all that. But while they were looking into the case, the police found out that Jimmy wasn't exactly squeaky clean. He actually had a criminal record. No, the police hadn't caught Jimmy stealing Bitcoin, but they did find out he had a criminal history. He once got caught with coke worth as much as $30,000. And by coke, I mean cocaine. This was the third red flag for the police, making them go, a lot of money, right? So much money. And on top of that, where did he even get all those drugs from? Why did he have so much? But the police were still suspicious and kept questioning him, like, Jimmy, why do you have so much money? What do you do? How do you make that much income? Jimmy replied, I invested in Bitcoin. I bought it when it was still cheap, and now that it's expensive, that's why I'm rich. That's all. The police listened and were like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense, but they still had their doubts. So you invested in Bitcoin, right? And part of the money that was stolen was in Bitcoin too, right? The local police started to think, maybe I'm out of my depth here, because all this information is confusing and I can't piece it together. So they decided to bring in officers who specialize in cryptocurrency to help with the case. The local police then handed the case over to the IRS agents. They brought in a special agent who specializes in cryptocurrency theft to help with this case. The IRS agents have handled many cryptocurrency-related cases, but one of the biggest cases they've worked on has been ongoing for about 5 to 6 years. They started tracking it back in 2012. It was the case involving the theft of 50,000 Bitcoins from an underground website called Silk Road. I actually made a video about Silk Road, so if you're interested, you can check it out. It was a dark web marketplace where you could buy just about anything. Drugs, porn, weapons of war, even organs like kidneys were for sale. And you could buy all of it with Bitcoin. But what the site was most notorious for, what made it really famous, was selling drugs. Back then, the 50,000 Bitcoins stolen from Silk Road by 2019 were worth as much as $3 billion. So when the IRS agents got involved, people started to take notice. Things started to get more interesting, and then there was a fourth surprise like, hey Jimmy. He had a ton of money. He also had way more drugs than any normal person would have. So the IRS agents started to think there was a chance he might be involved in the $3 billion heist. With all these suspicious signs, they figured it wouldn't hurt to check things out a bit. One of the people who joined the investigation was Sean McCruder, the CEO of BlockTrade, a company that specializes in blockchain analysis. He got involved in the case too, bringing his expertise to the table, tracking transactions on the blockchain. Sean explained that when you buy or sell things with Bitcoin, those transactions have to be recorded on the blockchain. People often think it's all secret, but in reality, it's not. Transactions recorded on the blockchain are actually the most transparent of any financial system in the world today. The reason people feel like it's secret is just because we only see transactions on the blockchain as wallet addresses, but we have no way of knowing who actually owns those wallet addresses because names aren't shown. So to emphasize again, Sean said that every transaction on the blockchain is transparent and can be audited. We can see everything, where the money in a wallet comes from, where it goes, and where it moves next. So if we track the wallet numbers, we can trace the path of those transactions. And of course, back in 2012, when Silk Road was robbed of 50,000 Bitcoins, they tracked that wallet address. Authorities have been keeping a close eye on the movements of that wallet ever since, watching to see if any further transactions would take place and where. But that wallet remained completely inactive the whole time, until in 2018, out of the blue, this wallet that had stolen 50,000 Bitcoins from Silk Road suddenly became active. There was a transaction, a transfer of a very small amount of Bitcoin, worth only about $800. The Bitcoin was sent from this wallet to an exchange. Whether it was intentional or not, no one knows. But it was this tiny amount of money that ended up getting Jimmy in trouble. Jimmy ended up in real trouble because they used a legal technique against him. It trapped him, and now I've been sitting out here in the sun and heat for so long, I'm starting to wonder if my sunscreen is enough. Let me reapply some with this Bashel Hydra Sulfavit sunscreen. It's lightweight and also nourishes your skin. It uses an encapsulated sunscreen filter technology, which is more effective than regular sunscreens and is perfect for people with sensitive skin. It also helps protect against pollution and dust, which are causes of dull skin, and it nourishes your skin too. So if you're someone who doesn't like putting on skincare in the morning, you can just use this one product and you're good to go. Let me show you how I reapply it. Wait, oh, didn't you put on any makeup? You're just gonna reapply sunscreen right here, just like that? But you can actually apply it after your makeup. And when you put it on, it doesn't get cakey, though it might look a bit white, which isn't a problem. See? Look, it really doesn't get cakey, and it's actually perfect for us. We need a sunscreen that can be applied over makeup. It's hard to find, you know? Bacillus hydrosulfurate. Just so you know, it protects against the sun, but it can't protect you from confusion, especially the kind of confusion Jimmy has. Like, suddenly, there's 50,000 Bitcoins worth $3 billion. And when you want to transfer money, you only send $800 to the exchange, which makes... So how did they get caught? It was a legal technicality. Basically, for an exchange to operate and accept money transfers, they must use a system called Know Your Customer, or KYC. When we want to transfer money to an exchange, the exchange requires us to complete KYC to verify our identity. And one thing we definitely have to do is take a photo. You have to tilt your head up, down, turn left, turn right, do it like 5 times and still can't get it right. Another thing about doing KYC is that you have to enter your personal information, your real first and last name, or even your ID number. And that $800 Jimmy transferred? Yes, Jimmy used his real face and real name. Jimmy, oh Jimmy, you must have really been out of it, because after entering his real name, the IRS officer who was tracking him, this wallet address had been tracked since the initial theft of 50,000 bitcoins, and everyone was shocked. Eventually, the owner's name of this wallet was revealed, Zimi. It really fits that slapstick moment when people said, Jimmy, huh? When his house was broken into and he lost $400,000, he really shouldn't have reported it to the police or let them come mess around in his house, because the timing was just too perfect, right when the IRS had already figured out that the owner of the wallet that stole 50,000 bitcoins was named Jimmy. It just so happened that Jimmy had just reported a break-in, which gave the police the perfect opportunity to access his house without raising suspicion. So the police installed cameras and went to Jimmy's house, having already called to make an appointment. Jimmy was very welcoming and gladly let the police into his home. Once inside, the police chatted with him casually, making small talk and even getting a tour of the place. So Jimmy was just fiddling around on his computer, with the police sitting right next to him. And what did the police see? They saw a cold wallet on Jimmy Zong's screen, and inside it was about $80 million worth of Bitcoin. The IRS agents were like, whoa! This was pretty solid evidence. First, his name was Jimmy, which matched the owner of the wallet. Second, he had a huge amount of Bitcoin. Just the portion they saw on the screen was already worth $80 million. There was a very high chance he was the one who stole the Bitcoin. Once the IRS agents had all this information, everything was said. While they were at Jimmy's house, they confronted him, just like a scene from a movie, and told him, actually, we're IRS agents. And then Jim, we appreciate how well you welcomed us, but actually today we're not here about the case of the person who robbed your house for $400,000. We're here for a much bigger case. Jimmy started to get suspicious about the case. The case of the stolen Bitcoin worth $3 billion. That was it. Jimmy was stunned, totally speechless. After that, the police took Jimmy in for questioning and prosecution, and of course, Jimmy was punished. He was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison for committing the crime of stealing 50,000 bitcoins. And after the police managed to put Jimmy behind bars, the case of the thief who robbed Jimmy's house and stole $400,000 was never solved. The culprit got away. As for the 50,000 bitcoins that Jimmy actually stole, the government announced that they would return them to the rightful owner, but let me tell you. So they managed to seize back 50,000 bitcoins. They said, if you're the owner, come and claim them. But would you believe it? Not a single person came forward to claim those 50,000 bitcoins. Not even one bitcoin, not even a single Satoshi. That's because those bitcoins were the ones used for transactions on the dark website called Silk Road. That means if anyone dared to claim those bitcoins back then, well, if you were selling stuff on the dark web, you definitely get charged. So in the end, no one came forward to claim those 50,000 bitcoins. That's why they ended up belonging to the US government. Now, they're part of the United States Bitcoin Reserve Strategy. The sad part about this story is that on the day Jimmy was sentenced to prison, he didn't have any friends, family, or even a single acquaintance there for him. No one showed up to be with him that day at all. But at least, after that, some friends sent him letters. There were still friends who wrote to encourage him. One of those letters was even recorded in the police records. The friend wrote, "I feel so sorry for Jimmy, because everything he did just because he wanted to love someone and to be loved by someone." As for Jimmy, after he received his sentence, he said part of the reason he did this was because when he was a kid, Jimmy was considered a special needs child. He was autistic and he used to get bullied by his classmates at school. Jimmy was the kind of person who could just get punched or beaten up by his friends for no reason at all, and it happened regularly. So when he robbed the Bitcoin and got to have Bitcoin, do you know what he said? He said he did it because having Bitcoin made him feel like he was someone important. He felt worthy, and he finally had friends. After Jimmy was sentenced to prison, he tried to request a sentence that wouldn't require him to actually go to jail. That sounds pretty normal, right? I mean, anyone who gets sentenced to prison would probably do everything they could to avoid having to sleep in a cell. But do you know what Jimmy told the court was the reason he didn't want to go to jail? He said he wanted a chance to take care of his best and truest friend. His friend, well, calling it a person wouldn't be quite right, because that friend was Chat, his dog. So that day, I totally get it, because Chat was already 13 years old and so sick that he couldn't even eat by himself anymore. So Jimmy asked the court for a chance, not to go to jail, so he could take care of Chat while he was sick, because Chat had been his only close friend his whole life. And he wasn't sure if, after spending a year and a day in prison and then coming out, he would still get to see Chat again. But then, it didn't work out. Besides the money he stole from Silk Road, 50,000 bitcoins worth $3 billion being seized by the US government, Jim also had to serve his sentence in prison in Montgomery, Alabama. As for Chase, he had to leave his friend in someone else's care.